A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up. Disappears. It ceases to exist without me.
All right. You guys go and get yourself prepared, and let's get ready to get this show on the road to get started and make things happen. So, thank you guys for tuning in to Official Business Podcast, where this show is OB and Theo. Theo, brother, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. Just hoping everybody's coming in and is going to enjoy the show.
Oh man, yes sir, yes sir, man. How's your weekend coming along?
You know me, man. I never complain about anything. Long as the family's intact, I'm content with that. Get to spend the night with my brother. We get to conversate back and forth on certain topics. So hey, let's have a little fun and see if we can come together on some stuff.
Man, I'm down with that, brother. I'm down with that, man. You guys, we wanted to say thank all of you for subscribing. All of you guys that's been very supportive of this channel. And great news, you notice that Theo and I is on here with no interruptions. Yeah, the Cash App helped, and we had to go and sell a little bit of plasma, but
Yeah.
we was able to upgrade the internet service. So yeah, man. So I want to say, what's up, man? Uh, hey, Price, brother. Who's the guy on the right? Hey, man, that's official business, man. That there you go. Man. What up with you, Jay Mose? That's Theo. Or on the left. And we're gonna have the number. Price, stick around. We're gonna have the number to call in, and we are gonna talk about a topic that has been, I want to say, that's been how would you put it, Theo? How would you put it?
Misleading. Let's
Okay.
just put it where the ghost can get it. Misleading.
So it's a topic that's is gross, that has been misleading and marketed throughout the trucking industry for quite some time. And I think I want to give credit where credit is due. If y'all don't follow Demetrius Price on Facebook, please do. Go in and hit that like button, go and hit that follow button with him, and subscribe to him. A lot of wisdom. Of course, he's a veteran in the trucking industry, seeing things from when truck drivers didn't have to have a CDL, all the way to when we don't promote it and he doesn't promote it, but DWI, you truck driver drinking alcohol and taking a load. Now,
correct.
So that tells you a lot about what he have seen in his experience. But nowadays, now we fast forward to modern day times, and I think that most truck drivers are taking going online on duty. Well, it would be line 2, on duty, but not drive. No, not line 2. That's line 4.
It was actually, they're going on to line 1, which is what is off duty, but they're using PC, which is off duty driving. You know what I mean? They're personal conveyance.
Okay, then I want to say that people are using personal conveyance and understanding gross and net. Now, this is going to be a very spicy topic, because if you guys haven't been following Demetrius Price or myself over there on Facebook, we have been really ruffling some feathers. And these feathers, I think that needs to be ruffled, because it's the misconcept of grossing. I heard it here on YouTube, where people will bring up topics of why this company is great, or they will bring up topics and points about reason why the money they're making, right? They're grossing. I'm grossing.
Correct.
But we are not looking at the expenditures. But Theo, man, let me get your input on that, man. Let's just start this conversation. Let's just start.
Let's get into it. First of all, those that are bragging or using the terminology of gross are misleading everybody. It's a false number to go off of. Yeah, this is what the load pays, but this is not what you're getting off the load at the end of the day. There are deductions. There's fuel costs. If you're leased on, there's a percentage of the load that goes somewhere else. If you have tolls, there's tolls that's got to be done en route to do this load. So your gross number doesn't really matter. It's the expenditures that you are spending to run that load, i.e., if there is a blown tire. That's still got to come from the net of that load. If there's oil purchases, like I said, if there's tolls, if you're idling your truck overnight, 3 or 4 days, doesn't matter. That's a gallon an hour that you're spending on that load. This all has to be calculated. And I think we throw out gross numbers to make something appear bigger than what it is. The reality is, guys do not know, and not all, do not know how to do their numbers. So they give us a large number and say, hey, this is what I made. Well, that's not what you made. You haven't even taken out your percentage, your fuel, anything. But you give us a number that's misleading. And we say, hey, this is good. It's not good because it misleads so many people. And this is how guys go out of business in trucking. This is how you lose your house. This is a recipe or a road to bankruptcy. You know, two road less follow. I follow the road not travel. Do not follow guys who only show gross. You will be losing your equipment, your wife, your family, and your whole total stability in your mind because you're going to go through a depression of losing. And that's Theo's opinion on it. And if you give me a rate agreement or something, we can talk better. But that's what I see what we're seeing out here now in the trucking industry. Gross doesn't mean net. And net is what's important. This is what you bring home. This is what's coming into your account. We have to focus on that number and how to produce a high number from that gross. That's the difference. It's simple mathematics. You have greater than, we have less than.
Okay, then. I'd like to go ahead and chime in on that, Theo. Now, you guys, I know you guys have been following some of some of these YouTubers, right? And I'm gonna make it clear so people don't have to guess. What I seen this week with John Hall, the Basin Semi. He put up a Raycon up there. He posted on social media on Facebook, and he showed the number, the gross number, and then he went to discuss what he makes per week or what his gross going to be at the end of the week. And that's all fine and dandy, you know, to hear that number, but let's break it down, rate per mile. And then we start getting things like, all right, you got a truck and you're saying that you don't need that much fuel, but the type of truck and the make, the model, the type of train, well, I should just say the engine, the type of engine in that truck is not fuel efficient. So the number you're throwing out about what you're getting per gallon is just unrealistic.
Even the drivetrain.
Yeah, the drivetrain. Drivetrain. The number was unrealistic. And this is just not him. So I'm not just hyper focused on him. I am more focused on the industry as a whole because companies has been doing this since Friday After Freedom. They got that from Theo. Where they say, come and join on to our company. Our best owner operator gross 500,000, gross 400,000. But let's start looking at the expense. And unfortunately, John Hall posted a rate confirmation. And on that rate confirmation, it showed a 4%. It showed the quick pay fee, or you got the quick pay fee, and it had a whole lot of stipulations. So, and he's leased on with a company. So is the company taking the quick pay fee? And if he's saying, hey, I'm getting 88% and they keeping 12%, is the 4% or the rate confirmation percentage included? You know, these are things you got to ask yourself because people are putting it out there on social media. And I know I received a lot of heat about having a discussion, right? Really, let's just have a discussion. But people are getting offended because they really truly believe gross number. John Hall made a statement. Countless people on here made statements about they really don't care as long as at the end of the week I made 9,000. Now, when you say not when you made, come on, let's listen. when you made 9,000? Are you talking about after all your fuel, your expenses, your tolls, taking money out for your insurance, your equipment, your food? Is that what you literally taking home to yourself when you pay yourself? Or is that what you're talking about? Is that referring to what you generated? And then what you generated, how much did you spend in fuel? Okay. This gross number is being put up on a pedestal as that is your net income. And companies are using it. I'm gonna have to say it, man. They know that a lot of truckers lack intelligence. The lack of intelligence allows them to play word games, and then uh, truck drivers out there start to play word games with their fellow truck drivers, what they learn from the company. As gross is primary and net is secondary.
Correct.
And right now, with everything going on in the trucking industry, I think this is a good time to have an informed conversation and let's pull back your fucking feelings. And
Mm,
let's get them back because money right now, people finances are at risk. All right, we got people marketing companies. We got marketing companies. Hey, you can make 10,000 a week. And then when they get to that company, they figure out that in order to make 10,000 a week, you got to drive 4,000 miles. Now you might generate 18,000, but after fuel and everything said and done, you bring home lucky 5. I know people are like, oh man, who's making 8 times? I'm just saying the gross number is a highly inflated, estimated. That number is unreal. It's not real. It's not real. But what you got to say
yeah.
to that, Theo?
Well, listen. First of all, we've got to start using the correct terminology when we're speaking, myself included. And the gross is what people say, and you use it all the time. You hit the nail on the head. You think gross is what the truck generated, right? So I think the word generated needs to be in the focal point of every conversation when we're talking about what we made out here or what we're making.
Hold on. All right. So let's
Hmm.
start right now. I'm gonna promise to you, brother. I'm gonna
Hmm.
promise you, throughout this podcast, we are going to use the word generate as many times as possible so
Hmm.
people can understand the importance of the vocabulary when dealing with financial responsibility, right?
Correct.
So the truck generating. I'm sorry, go ahead. The truck
Okay.
generating.
So now we're at where we're using the correct terminology. We generated a gross number, and I said gross, but we generated this gross number. Now, how many miles are we running to generate this number? That's the second factor we have to take in. So let's just say hypothetically, the load is 650 miles, $1,700. That's about $2.65 a mile, give or take 2 or 3 cents. Okay, we understand. Let's say hypothetical, you are in a Cascadia. You're getting 6 miles to the gallons. You're going through West Virginia, right? That's where we're going. It's going to cost you 108 gallons to do this load, minimum. That price at about $4.91 a gallon, because most time when you're leased on with some people, you don't get the huge discount on fuel. You're averaging 12%. So we'll give it $474. Now we're taking that number. Well, that number, if you take that number, we're looking at right now, we're hovering around, give or take, 1225 or two, right? So we generated 1700. But now that 1700 is around 1225 or 1275 because we got to take out fuel. So now this is where we're at. Our next number, or we can do it in reverse, but I should have, is going to be our 12% if we're basing it on that. Now that's dropping us down to about $1,022. And we can round these numbers up, but they're pretty close.
Okay.
If you're going in a toll region, let's say your load picks up in South Carolina and it goes to PA, you're going to have to run the tolls somewhere, or you're going to drive out of route about 50 miles to avoid a $7 toll, which knocks your price down again. So we have these numbers coming into a place. We know what's doing the $7, so we're at 1,019. Now, let's say you pick the load up on Friday, the load delivers Monday. Well, guess what happens? That's a 4-day that you're holding on to the load. So technically, right now, you're running this load at 650 miles for about $1,020. That's about $1.58 a mile. Let's give it $1.65. Let's be generous. But you held on to it for 4 days. Now you at a little over 200 and what? $8 a mile.
So
$8 a day. $8 a day. I apologize. So
at that point, do we divide that number that we are sitting at right now by the days that it's taken us to complete the
correct, because it is not a next day run. So by you having to drive the 650 miles, it's taking you 4 days until you deliver. So that number has to come into after you fuel, the percentage, tolls, if there's any tolls, or any other costs. Now you're going to give you, because sometimes guys don't understand their daily rate. Some want a daily rate. And when you don't understand what your daily rate number is, you're not even going to understand the whole schematics of the thing.
Well, now when you say the daily rate, now what is a daily rate? What do guys, or can you give us some insight on this thing called daily rate real quick?
The daily rate is basically what you need that truck to make to be profitable. This is your daily rate.
Is that the gross or is that the net?
No, that's not the gross. This daily rate is your net.
Okay.
You got me? You cannot have a daily gross because you're misleading yourself again, right?
Why is that?
Or
Why is that?
You got me? So this daily rate is, what is it that I have to have to move this truck and trailer every day? Some guys, it's $700 a day. That gives them a 5-day work week, $3,500, and they're content with that. Depending on your region where you run, that could be a good week, especially if it's consistent. Consistency plays a big part in this industry. So, but that daily rate to run that kind of miles at that, what the truck generated, it comes out to roughly 200 and I want to say $8. And I'm off $1 or $2, but the reality is I would rather set the truck before the truck is making $208 a day, because there's too many variables that can go on with the truck breaking down. So the reality is this: if there was a blown tire, that's going to take on an average $600 to replace.
So that makes you negative $400.
Well, you're only left with 400. Now you divide that by your how many days it's still taking. Now you're at $100 a day, or a little over $100. You see, so I think we've seen this so long where nobody looks at the raw numbers. I
think people do look at the raw numbers, but by the time they realize the raw number, either they're going out of business or they are just mentally in a different state of mind where they like, okay, I learned my lesson. I just really want to forget about this and move on with my life. I don't want to deal with the truck. I'm just go back as a company driver, where we still have people and companies out here pushing and really promoting gross numbers. And when you look at their operation, you see that their operation don't have direct customers. They don't have in-house. They don't have in-house staffing. They lack in-house dispatching, right? Or any type of fruitful benefits like healthcare, things of that nature. You see that now it just ran like a true hustle. It's ran like a true hustle because there's no structure. They just say it all right. Gross numbers. This is what we could gross. We let you pick your load, but it's just a free for all. And truck drivers see this number and say, well, I'm gonna lease my truck on with this company because their driver makes. Now, people out there in the comment section, how many times have you ever heard that statement? Oh man, I'm going lease on with that company because the driver told me they make. And you like, okay, it sounds attractive. We all have done it. when we first got in the truck industry. Hell, I've done it. When you see the billboard sign, our driver makes 25 to 3,500 a week. Then you get with the company and you realize you're negative for the first 2 weeks. They tell you, oh, you just got on board, just give it some time. Before you know it, you're averaging 1,500. They're like, oh, we could do 25, but you realize you got to run beyond reason.
Correct.
You
Correct.
run beyond reason, man. And right now, where truckers are right now, it is a very pitiful point in this industry, where truck drivers literally having to decide to either take care of their personal bills or take the load because, okay, you only can sit for so long. Our society is set up financially where you would never be out of debt. You're going to owe either a water bill, light bill, homeowner insurance, property tax,
Mhm.
gas bill, car note, car insurance. You got some type of bill.
Yeah.
So I'll have that pleasure to say, I'm just going to sit this out for 3 years, or I'm just going to sit this out to the market. You got a lot of people that's being proactive. You got a lot of truckers out there that's being proactive, trying to rearrange their host setup, restructure, and trying to do things that's more feasible to them. But it's hard for them to navigate through this industry when you have so much companies and marketings that is so misleading. And it
Correct.
is mentally draining on a trucker. When you're just thinking about this, people promote these numbers in order to come to work for them, where they will make a profit, but you make nothing. They promise you the world, but you make nothing. And quite frankly, here on YouTube, majority of the people that say they work for these companies and they make this money, none of them really proved it. They will prove 1 week out of what, a whole year? How
Correct.
long have they been with the company? Why they're moving companies? Because it's right there, right there in front of you. The gross number is always a lie, have been a lie. The
Mhm.
only people who could take the gross number and hold it strong is company drivers, and that's really not gross number. That's usually salary.
Correct.
But us as owner operators, let's just be frank. Gross number is like a carrier booking a load with a broker. The rate confirmation is your gross number. That is actually a gross number because if you call a broker today and book a load with them, and that rate confirmation said $4,500, you don't get to keep all $4,500 inside of your pocket and just magically you're gonna have magical fuel, you're gonna have magical this. No, you have to take that amount
Mhm.
and spend in order to get the load there to complete the task. And after everything, after you pay for fuel, tolls, you take out for your insurance, you take out for your driver's pay, you take out if you got a truck note. After you take out all of those expenses, that little left, you then have to put back savings for the truck, savings for yourself, pay yourself. And
Correct.
that little small number at the bottom is actually what you're making. That is what you're making. And people are like, well, I gross this number. I got these write-offs. Well, here go the thing. Here go the thing. It's almost like an oxymoron move. So you're generating 300,000. Okay. This company is generating 300,000, but it is costing 280,000. So you're not performing your tasks or your abilities efficiently.
Mhm.
You're negative. You're negative. You can't
That is true.
sustain too long. So when guys go out there and really promote these companies, I would like to see them promote about longevity, consistency. I would like them to actually speak about what type of equipment, what type of lanes. And let's be honest, which driver And then we got to talk about how long has the drivers been there? What type of trailer? Is it specialized? And also, where are you getting your fucking loads? I cannot believe a company. In all honesty, I cannot believe a company that participate on a load board. What at 80%, 80%, 80% of your operation is dependent on an open market load board. And you want me to sign up with you? You too risky. It's just too
Correct.
much risk. And if you could gross, if you say, okay, we are an operation that really participate in an open market, the load board, then my thing to you is how can you predict my gross? Because you can't predict the market. You have no control in this market.
That is
And
true.
then they're like, well, last year is not current.
We can't live in the past.
Yeah, the market is too volatile.
Hmm. Well,
And go ahead, brother.
let me put a caveat in here for a minute. As you were speaking, I started thinking. The reality is, the driver of that truck generates a number. The company gross a number. Now, the company is giving the bulk of the gross to the driver. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
Because now,
hold on. I think, no disrespect, but I think you overcomplicated. Let's slow it back down.
put it
Uh,
where the ghost can get it. Mhm,
so to generate, okay.
mhm,
So the driver generates the money,
mhm,
the gross for the company.
mhm.
The company then in return takes the gross and adds the driver to the deduction list. Hey, we got trucker price on. Hey, Demetrius Price coming online. Give us 1 second. Here we go. How you doing, brother?
Hey,
Uh,
how's it doing?
okay, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody out there.
Hey, man, I'm Demetrius Price, man, better known as Trucker's Life, man. Just been preaching and trying to get some
All
understanding
right, Price.
about
We
trucking.
got it. We got you.
All right, all right.
Hey, how
I,
you
I,
doing this
I
evening, brother?
good. I kind of want to bring some clarity to
Hold on
what
real quick. I think Theo got you, Price. Hold on.
okay.
Theo got you. Go ahead, Theo.
Well, like I was saying, um, there's gross, there's generate, right? And we have to really bog down in our mindset to what the truck is actually generating, because you don't get the gross. You get what I'm saying? You're getting part of the gross. You don't get the gross, and we're speaking for those that are
All
leased
right.
on.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good. Theo, after this Price. So for the people that doesn't understand, once the gross is no longer whole, once that number is no longer the solid number that you agreed to, and it goes smaller, that now start to become net.
Correct.
Even if it's 1 penny. But anyway, brother Price, how you doing this evening? It's good to hear from you. How you doing, brother Price? You got the
I'm I'm good, man. How you guys doing? Hey, I'm gonna take the training wheels off with you guys tonight. All right.
hold on there. Don't take it off to us. Take it off to the people, the
I
audience out there.
know.
We're gonna have them calling in tonight.
I
That's
can
who
handle it.
that's who I'm talking about. I'm gonna take the training wheels off with you guys. Okay. When I been trucking, right? There were trucking companies out here that, okay, if I signed on with your trucking company, I leased on because like when in the beginning, I started off with training wheels. I leased on to a company. If I went down the road and I broke down, I had the backing of that company to get my truck fixed, get it towed, and basically take care of me. Now, the thing about it is, if I was on a load and I broke down with that damn load, I already know I'm not going to be paid for that load if somebody got to come pick it up. That's just something that you already knew. But the company was going to take care of you. They would go ahead, get your truck fixed, and get you back on the road. And then grab, the next thing they could find for you to get on the road, it'd probably be a high dollar load. And they'll get you back in the black so that you can pay them back the money that you owed them. Now,
Correct.
those type companies are no longer out here. And the very few that are out here, They got their drivers, and those drivers aren't going anywhere because the drivers already hear all the war stories and all the horror stories that are going on out in the trucking industry. And why would I risk this great job and somebody having my back to go somewhere else?
Mhm.
Now, for these companies that can't do that, who charge you for everything, who tell you different things and say I'm going to give you the world and then turn around and they can't. I'm going to tell you why they can't, because the market is so messed up. You got guys running up and down the highway for $1 a mile, 70 cents a
Correct.
mile.
Correct.
So if I'm a major company, if I got price transport going to I've been in business for 110 years, my grandfather, my grandfather's grandfather, and I've been running forever. I got to compete. A guy with 2 trucks could run me out of business, and I got 1,000 power units. What do you mean by that, Price? How can a guy with 2 trucks run you out of business and you got a big ass company like that? Because nobody's not going to pay me what I ask. Because that guy with those 2 trucks who don't know what he's doing, who's bidding on work that should pay twice the amount that he's doing it for, and I'm coming in there asking for 2 times that amount, that a guy look at me and laugh in my face and say, you must be crazy. I'd
Yeah.
rather get this non-experienced, non-truck driving guy this money and let him fail rather than keep giving you this kind of money. Because the loyalty means nothing. And you guys got to understand that loyalty means nothing in this business. I've given guys that I've had contracts with
Hold on, real
work
quick.
because they have not had work, only to find out them going back to the person that I was working for and trying to steal a contract from me. So loyalty has no place in trucking.
Hold on,
And
real
it's
quick.
sad.
Hold on,
Huh?
Price. Let's go back to the gross and net. I know I just had to do something, but the gross and net, right? And
Yeah.
then we're gonna touch it. We will touch on that on the loyalty. But right now, the tonight show is really focused on this net and gross. Can
Well,
you
that's the simplest thing,
you
man. That is
well,
the simplest
yeah,
thing.
but
You know, when guys book a load and the guy says the load pays $1,000. Hey dog, that load don't pay you no $1,000. You already know there's hidden costs when you first get the load.
all right, hold on. All right, let's do it like this, Price.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Because I'm ready to break it
let's
down. I want the boys
okay.
to get
This is what we need to do. This is what
All
we
right.
need to do. Let's talk, like, for instance, I'm a new guy in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I got your number off of Facebook. I'm calling you. Let's go. Hey, Mr. Price, I just became owner operator. I'm signed up with this company. They saying that most of their drivers, owner operators, going to gross 500,000 a year. Yeah, go ahead. You got the floor, brother.
Well, you're not going to make 500,000 a year. Let's get this clear. Number one, those are seasoned vets. They only go in certain areas and they run the high dollar freight. You may get a high dollar freight every once in a blue moon, and the moon don't turn blue that often. And you're going to run the most crappiest route there is, where there's snow, mountains, and everything and that you can imagine, to include tolls. So for someone to tell you that you're going to make 500,000, you're really not. If you do make 500,000, they're talking about grossing 500,000. In order for someone to make 500,000 or even 200,000, expect to spend half that amount to bring home, meaning the net. So if I made $200,000 over the year, I spent 100,000 to make it. Those are true numbers. There's no way to get around it. In some cases, you spend more than half to make 200,000. Now, you also got to remember, when you're making that 200,000, it puts you in a different tax. It puts you in a different tax bracket, because that's a gross number. That gross number is going to throw you in a different tax bracket, which you're going to be paying more taxes. So when someone says to you that you're going to make 200,000 because I don't want to throw 500,000 out there. I'll say 200,000. You're going to spend 100,000. The higher the fuel goes, the higher your expenses go. So you go from the gross to the net. So if my gross, let's say for instance, fuel is running at $3 a gallon, I'm grossing $3,500 a week. At the end of the week, I netted say 2,000. Okay, I netted 2,000 this week, but now the fuel jumps up to $4. Guess what? I no longer net that much money anymore because I got to spend more money in fuel. If the tolls go up, I got to spend more money on tolls, making my net go down even more. If that's a toll road that I have to run all the time, like I give an example, to run from right up here in Pennsylvania up to Pittsburgh, that's $400, dog. That's a $400 toll for a truck. One way, class 7. You got to incur all these costs. So if somebody say, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to run Pittsburgh. Damn, that's only 300 miles. Okay, I'll take that. But you don't know the back end of it. First of all, the $1,000, hey, dog, you had to take out money for quick pay, fuel advance. So if he charged you $5 on taking a fuel advance, that's $5 out of $1,000. So let's say, I'm gonna just give you a quick number. Let's say you took $5 out of not $5, but $50 out of the $1,000 on the fuel advance. Then you took another $50 for quick pay because you couldn't wait the 30 days. You down to $900. Out of that $900, you just paid $400 in tolls. Hey, dog, 100 gallons not gonna go 300 miles with that big damn 3406 with an 18-speed cat in it. That truck is drinking fuel. At
Now,
the end of the day,
what if I'm going 55? What if I'm keeping it under 60?
hey, Big Pimp, you got the biggest motor out there, dog. You got a big dog. That's why they call you Big Dog Stingley. You sitting back there looking cool. You got that hat on, that gear shift all the way up to the ceiling, and you cool. You cool, you clean. But when you get to the stop and you get everything off and they do all the deductions out of that $1,000, if you came home with $100, you did well. But guess what, Mr. Stingley? If you had a driver, your driver gonna strip your truck because you couldn't pay him. These are real things that happen in this trucking industry. And it goes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Let me ask you something, Price. So
Yes, sir.
saying all that, and I'm the new guy, I'm with Daryl, I'm the new guy. And I'm getting the loads booked for me, right? Nobody, I don't care if it's leased on with somebody. If they say I got a load, you should know the numbers, the miles, and everything before you say, yeah, book it. That's just crazy for somebody just give you a load and you can't even calculate your numbers. So are you saying more so that coming into this business, some of the things we need to learn are the lanes that we're running, i.e. whether they're tolls or they're real hilly. We really need to focus on what this truck gets miles per gallon so we can really see if these runs are worth it. And also, when we're told a number, should we go ahead and start calculating right there and what this truck is going to generate off of that number, or what the truck is going to net off of that number, right? So if you said the load's $1,000 and it's going 300 miles, then I'm saying, hey, man, that's good. To a certain degree, right? I'm saying, well, it's a decent rate, it's a little over $3.45 a mile, hey, let's do it. Now, I haven't taken any the numbers of looking at, I'm giving up, let's say 12%. We're going to keep using that number. I'm giving up 12%. I haven't taken that number. There's toll roads. I haven't looked at that number. I'm just looking at this what the truck generates is 1,000. And the YouTube stratosphere is gross, is what we're confusing. So should I start being more proactive and really say, wait a minute, I have to break these numbers down? That's why I always ask, should you know your lanes that you're running? What is the real cost to operate that truck? And is that $1,000 load gonna give you enough money to run that truck for that day? Because you understand the load is 42,000 pounds. We have a lot of hills to go through. We do have tolls. Now, I would ask you as a new driver, hey, is there any way around the tolls that's maybe 50 miles farther that I'm not paying $400? It drops me down to about $125. Would that be more feasible? And I go back to knowing your lanes, knowing the areas that you're running when you're taking these loads or booking these loads, because that is a big cost factor concerning to your net, if I could use it that way.
Yeah, you so basically knowing the layout and the demographic, knowing the expenses to go in a particular area. But see, these are things right now. I want to take a second back to Mr. Price. All right, Mr. Price.
All the above. All the above.
What about?
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right. So earlier this week, man, it was a rate confirmation. What did you see with that rate confirmation that had you thinking differently of where some people were saying that was a profitable run? What made you feel different? What things did you take it into account in order to come up with the mindset that you did? Your final decision of no, this is bad.
Okay. Number one, I knew the dynamics of the truck. A long nose 379 Pete is a brick going down the road. It's a good looking truck, but it's a brick going down the road. It's not aerodynamic. That's number one. Number two, it was a 3406 big motor with a damn 550 and a 18-speed transmission in it. Let me tell you something. If I get in 12th gear, I'm probably running 100 miles an hour. I can't even get in the big hole without doing at least 80 miles an hour. If I'm running that fast, I'm burning fuel. That fuel is going up through that stack. If I'm pulling hills, mountains, whatever, I got to put my foot in it a little bit more, and I got to burn just a little bit more fuel. That motor probably only gets 3 to 4 miles to the gallon. That's if you're driving it perfect. And there are no perfect drivers out here. You got to, when people say an engine gets 6, 7, 8 miles to the gallon, hey dog, that's a perfect truck. That's driving that truck perfect. That means that the tires are inflated perfectly at 100 pounds, 110 pounds, 120 pounds, whatever it may be. That means that you hitting those gears at the perfect rate and at the right RPM at every go, from start to go, from stop to go. There's nobody, including myself, who can drive a truck perfectly. There are times that I'm just not paying attention. Oh, shoot. And I'll back out of a gear and I'll rev it and get it back in the gear where it's supposed to be. I might not scrape the gear, but I missed it. And I know I'm about to grind it and I'll pull it back and I'll pat the fuel pedal, the accelerator again and get it back in. I just burnt fuel. So there are no perfect drivers out here. So when guys say they're getting 6, 7, 8 miles to the gallon, you're not getting that. If you sit somewhere, you pull over and you don't shut your truck off, your truck is burning a gallon of fuel an hour. All of these things are calculated in your expenditures. So when somebody says, I'm going to give you a load that pays $2,000, automatically, no, you're not getting $2,000. You're not getting $2,000. That number is the number that they give you. It's a $2,000 run, but you'll never get it. We got to take out from the giddy up. I don't have that kind of money where I can bankroll my operation every day. With fuel
don't make it personal.
It's not personal.
Not you, but because it's going to take away from what you're saying. It's going to take away from the message, right?
Well, the message is that you have got to look at everything that you do in this trucking industry when you book a load. If a guy tells you you're going to get 3,000, just know it's not 3,000 that you're getting. If it's 5% off of that 3,000, dog, no, that's $150 off the top of that 3,000. So you start deducting from that 3,000. The 3,000 was the gross. The net would be the daggone 150 minus 150 from that 3,000. Okay, you just got a fuel advance. Say you got 60% of that 3,000. So now you're talking about you got $1,800 minus the 150. Then at the end of say you did everything, you got everything down the road. Hey, dog, you want to get your quick pay because you can't wait 30 days for that money. So now you go and get quick pay. They're not giving you quick pay from the remaining balance of what you got. They're giving it from the gross.
The agreed upon rate. Agreed upon rate.
Right. So now you done lost $300 off the load. That's that. So the load only paid $2,700.
They charging you $300. You lost $300 for accessing
Absolutely.
your money.
Yeah.
But it gets Obi, it gets even worse than that. These companies like C.H. Robinson, let's say then you did the quick pay for another 150. You backed into a dock, and then you went in there and they said, okay, it's going to cost $500 to offload you. You call C.H. Robinson up and say, hey, I need a T-check for $500 for the lumper. They send you over the T-check. Hey, dog, they hit you with $35 for getting a T-check to pay their people. You as the owner pay for that. They don't absorb that cost. You as the driver who have nothing to do with their lumper just added another cost onto your money.
So
what I'm saying is, when you look at a gross number, that is not the money that you're gonna make. You'll never get that 3,000, not unless you got money, and you got time, and you say, okay, well, I'm gonna pay for the whole entire load. I'm going to pay the lumper expense. I'm going to pay the fuel expense. I'm going to pay the toll expense. Just send me my $3,000 after 30 days are up. Who can do that on every load? Who got that kind of money?
Well, I'm going to ask the question to the people out there. You guys that's tuned in. All right. I'm about to put the phone number up. Let's get that chat line. Let's go ahead and get busy down there in that chat, because this is a topic that needs to be had. You know, this is a discussion. We could sit there and we could mimic shit, man. But I'm reading the comments. What's up with your T Hill Poe? They so broke there isn't even a table. Now here go the thing. You got truck drivers out there broke, and you know, if you've been in the game longer, or you've been in the game for quite some time, you cannot expect people to learn at the same time periods that you learned, right? We got people out there that's trying to find out, you know. We all have to start somewhere. But the people going broke is not actually good for the trucking industry, because it removes the independence. And like other things, it get monopolized, like your grocery stores, your hardware stores, your dealerships, car dealerships, manufacturers, producers.
Correct.
And you're only going to have only 3 options when you used to have a variety, right? So we need to get this discussion started, because we need all the independence out there, good or bad, but we have to have a variety.
Yeah.
But to let each other just go broke and be like, oh, fuck that, they should know. Okay. Don't complain when your homeowner insurance, you only could pick from 2 people. Some of you guys complain about your trucker insurance. Did you not know that it's really like only 3 underwriters?
Correct. And I want to add to that. In my state, there are only 2 underwriters in Connecticut, right? And also, I want to add to this, because I know you get ready to drop the number before you drop the number so they can call in. You know, we cannot go into 2023 with a 2022 mindset. And that's what these discussions are all about. It's changing the mindset of your operation, looking at your numbers, because the numbers aren't increasing as they were through 21 to 22. They're not increasing, they're decreasing. So we really have to be more focused on these numbers and understanding our numbers. I think for too long, we've heard the word gross for too long. And everybody's brought into this as if this is the new chick on the street. I want to get me some of that gross. No, you want some of that net. That's your focal point. It's what you're netting. That's what you can really operate off of. So I just wanted to say that before you had put the call in, in
We
case
got
I
the
forgot.
call in. All right, you guys. Now, when you call in, man, keep it respectful. All right. Got to call in. You can ask me a question. You guys, Theo. You guys, Brother Price, something. But let's go and let's have a real discussion. Um, got the number up on the board, and
Yeah.
we got that. Just call the number, and we're gonna make it happen, Captain.
Yeah. And I just want to say this for me and everybody up here on the Bishop Business Podcast. Want to wish Calvin Worley, top rope, a happy belated birthday.
Oh, happy birthday
Right.
with you, Calvin.
All right. Happy birthday, pimp.
All right, I got the line open. The phone number's up there, 561-972-2042. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah. But like I said, we got to change this mindset. 2023, where we're really involved in understanding our numbers, understanding the lanes. Let's not sign up for the newest YouTube star that says this is what I'm grossing. These are my numbers, and not willing to give full in detail what these numbers are because we don't want to mislead anybody. We don't want to pull anybody to a company and they lose everything. If we're going to brag about how good a company is, or if we're going to stand on it, we really need to show what this company is doing for their drivers, i.e., if it's a company driver, i.e., if it's a owner operator leased on, you want to show what they're really doing. Just saying, I'm making money. And then when you really break your numbers down, you're not making that kind of money. And it can mislead people to come over there under this impression that this is the best thing since sliced bread, and the bread is moldy. So, I think this is, these are the kind of discussions that we want people to be aware. We don't want anybody to lose anything. We just want you to be more aware, be more in depth with what you're trying to do in this business, because it is changing. It is ever evolving, and we want to evolve with it financially.
All right, got the number up there, you guys. 561-972-2042. Now I'm about to go ahead and because we're gonna keep on moving because Price was about to say something. You still there, Brother Price?
I am still here, man. Like I said, man, from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to the 23s, man, trucking has changed so much, man. I mean, when we started out, you just had to have chauffeur license. It was just a piece of paper that was folded 3 times over. Then it went to the CDL. Then it went from, you needing to drive a stick, knowing how to drive a stick, to an automatic, to what we have today, man. And I mean, for me to have gone from the era of I could have a job right now, quit it, and then go next door and start working for that guy in the same day, is just unbelievable how far we've gotten from that point to where we are now.
Yeah, it's called a paper trail. Now
Yeah.
there's a paper trail, right? Well, let me ask you this, Price. Older guy, very respectable guy, been in the business a long time. And I know a lot of guys been in business at the same time as you and a little bit longer and shorter. And of course, I want to give you a kudos. We are talking to a military veteran, so we always want to give respect is due. Now, do you think that over time, and I start asking myself this, and I'm not an old guy, is trucking passing me by? The operation of running a truck day to day, is it starting to pass some of the older guys by? Do you think we're looking at that? We go back to when you had the chauffeur license and they lost a lot of drivers when they went to commercial driver license because half of them couldn't read, right? So trucking had passed those guys by. We understood back then a lot of guys did not continue to drive, and just based on the fact they could not read to take the actual written part of the test to get these CDLs that we now have. So that's the question, because I sometimes feel that trucking is passing me by. So I wanted to ask you that, from an older guy, respectable guy, And do you see or feel like it's kind of either passing me by, or I'm losing my grip on the industry that I love?
Right. Well, let me say this. Back in the day when they had the Articular license, the folded 3 pieces of paper,
Mm-hmm.
then came along the CDL. Well, the majority of drivers were illiterate. They couldn't read, they couldn't write, but they could drive the hell out of a truck, and they could take a truck to wherever it needed to go with no GPS and a CB. Because guys they were intelligent, but they just couldn't read and write. So there were so many drivers at the time when the CDL came out that they had no more truck drivers. They just grandfathered people who already had their CDL, their Articular license over to the CDL. So
Mm-hmm.
they continued on with their career. Now, we did lose some drivers because a lot of guys thought that it was starting to get a little too technical because you had to get a CDL rather than your Articular license. There was no big strain about these physicals and all of that. As a matter of fact, we didn't even get physicals.
Now,
There
but
was no such thing as a physical.
do you feel like truckers passing you by now, like in today's time?
There's so many, man. There's so many rules and regulations. If I don't go get a physical, if I don't pass this, if I don't do this, and when I go in the weigh station, I should have known about this and should have known about that. I didn't have a seatbelt on. I'm gonna get a ticket because I had a seatbelt on. Man, things like that didn't happen back in the day.
Don't forget, you got to be certified through your DMV once you've taken your physical.
Now, let me ask you, somebody got a question. They said, was there drug testing back in the day?
No.
No such thing as a drug test. You could have damn near have a beer in your lap driving down the road.
Look, man, just imagine this, man. Just think about it. During the disco era, they was doing coke and driving a Mac. You could just do coke and drive a Mac.
You're not lying.
This is no shitter. This
What's
is no
that?
shitter right here. For you guys that are on the Northeast, down at the TA truck stop down there, they used to have a fucking bar downstairs. You go down there and get towed up, a big full-size bar downstairs in the TA. You go down them stairs from that TA from the restaurant and you look to the left, there's a double door right there. If they open that door up, there's a big full-size bar in there. Drivers would go in there and get towed up. And what happened was one driver felt another driver's wife's butt, and he shot and killed him. So truck drivers were renegades too. They rode around with pistols, they drank liquor and beer, and there was no such thing as no log books. I mean, if you got caught, the first thing DOT be like, "Hey man, pull over and sleep that stuff off."
Right.
I remember going to Budweiser, going to Bud and pulling in there. They let you drink as much beer as you wanted. As much beer as you wanted, but you couldn't take one beer can out the damn property, off the property. So let me get this straight. I can sit in here and get pissy drunk and then pull out, close the doors, and take your load down the road. Absolutely. That was
but you can't take that beer can with you, though. That's the difference.
Oh, man, that's a federal crime if you take that beer can off the property.
They have like a waiting area.
Yeah, truck drivers be in there smoking. See, you could smoke back then. I don't smoke cigarettes, but you could sit in the lobby, the driver's room. They had cigarettes in there. They had a TV in there, and you just sit in there and drink beer. They was in the little Dixie cups, but you could drink as many as you want to.
Correct.
As long as you want.
And I will say this real quick. Price, I don't know if do you remember when some of the LCL companies, guys would tell people this, and some of the companies, when guys was coming in tired, they would have a bottle of black pills on the table for the drivers to take and get back in that truck and keep it moving.
Get out of here.
I don't know about all of that. But guys were taking what they call that stuff, black beauties and all kinds of stuff to keep them on.
That's what it was.
You guys, what is Black Beauty?
I have no idea.
I thought he was talking about me for a minute. But
hell no. We call your ass asshole.
Man.
But what was Black Beauty? Was that like y'all was what was
I don't know nothing about And I just
You
used to hear about it all the time, man.
Yeah,
But
you see what I'm saying? Now, I never knew anybody who actually took this stuff, but I knew guys that worked for companies that did that,
yeah,
that used to
because
do
man,
that. They would have those pills right there to keep them
Oh,
guys
so
moving.
them up. It would actually keep them energetic,
Oh, yeah.
like
hey,
like they did.
let me say this to you, man. The reason why most of them guys were doing drugs like that is because there was no fucking such thing as goddamn you're gonna do 11 hours and that's it. No, hey, listen, I need you to run that goddamn load to California. I need it there in 2 days. Get it there for me, Stingley. But it's gonna take me 5. No, you better be there in 2 damn days. You get it there in 2 days. I'm gonna give you a day to sleep. Now bring me a load coming right back, and I need it back here on the East Coast in 2 more days. So you leave on a Monday. They expect you to be in California on Wednesday, sleep Thursday, and then turn your ass back around and be back by Saturday. That was trucking, man. All
Hey,
these
now,
guys
wait a minute now.
complaining.
I'm with
Hey
you,
man,
Mac.
I don't want to show my age, but I'll be honest with you, man. When I got to get some work done, I'm old school, man. I'm gonna get it done.
Price?
I'm
What you
gonna
mean,
get it done.
brother? Brother, you just told us you was around before drug testing and CDLs.
Yes, sir.
When I first came in the trucking, there was no drug testing.
There
We
was
had
no drug
CDL.
testing or physical. No physical.
Drug testing didn't start till about 2000.
Hold on.
Hey, Daryl, that was the time of the ride along. I tried to tell you years, man. I've been telling you about the ride alongs. Y'all know what the ride alongs is?
I think people know
Okay,
prostitute.
you been telling what the ride along is? Huh?
A lady of the evening,
And a reach
passenger.
around.
It ain't necessarily got to be a lady of the evening. I get me a gal and she ride with me. She go everywhere I go. She sitting on
Yeah.
that passenger side. She
Well,
bake me a sandwich. She get me a
I'ma say,
cold drink out of the cooler. Hey,
Yeah.
Daryl. And when I get tired, come here, gal. We going to the West Coast. Sit your ass in there butt naked on the driver's seat and hold it.
All right.
You know, there are some kids watching now. This is PG-13.
All right, Theo. What you got to say, Theo?
I'm gonna say this on the last part. If my memory correct, Price, they didn't start drug testing until about 2000. Early, I'll say 2000, 2001. That's when
it was earlier
they really
than that.
started enforcing. It was earlier than that?
It was earlier than that, but they didn't really hold people feet.
It wasn't. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Where you lost your career and all of that. Nah, I think
Correct.
that was in the late 2000s or early 2000s, something like that. It really wasn't hard because you got to remember, man, guys were coming back from Vietnam driving trucks. They were full junkies, man.
Yeah.
And that's no knock on the military. Them guys over there fighting wars, and they over there in that hash and doing all that stuff over there, man. And they
got that high speed chicken feed.
Yeah, and they were doing drugs over there, man. So yeah, they gave them a grace period. You might got caught or pop positive on a urinalysis. Hey, they slap you on the hand. Don't do it again. That was trucking back then, man. But there was none of this soft stuff like you hear these drivers now. Oh, they making me drive 11 hours or 10 hours. What? Man, listen, you couldn't work for none of these companies only driving 10 hours. There was no such thing as you gonna come to work and you only gonna drive 10 hours. That's no, hell no. Hell no. They'll get rid of you. They get rid of you. They get rid of you. So in some ways, some things are better. That's how that stuff, I hate to say it this way, that moms against drunk drivers and all this other stuff. Hey, man, do you know the president of the United States' whole family was killed by a truck driver? I don't know the details of what happened, whether or not if the driver was drunk or not, because back then they didn't record that kind of stuff. That the truck driver.
It was a truck driver. It was the truck driver.
A truck driver killed Biden's wife and daughter and a son, I believe it was.
Yeah, his first family.
Yeah, his first family killed him. Yeah, with a truck. That's why I know I'm not going to say that he's not on our side, but he ain't going to go out of his way for no truck driver. Because, I mean, even I would feel the same way. I still have that in the back of my mind. One of these bastards killed my family. So, correct. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, some things change for the good, but then other things change for the bad. Like, I give an example. How we get gigged for, like, if we pull in a weigh station and we got anything wrong with the truck or trailer, and we get gig for it. Back in the day, the company got those tickets. That wasn't the company's fault. And then they started saying when they got the CDL, when the CDL came out, they said any driver that gets stopped by DOT and there's an infraction with the truck, we're gonna start holding you liable for it. We're gonna start putting it against you. And everybody was like, yeah, whatever. They ain't gonna do that. Then the next thing you know, they started doing that. That was in the late 2000s. And they started taking points away from your driver's license. And then people wouldn't hire you because your CSA score and all this other stuff was too damn high. And you're like, well, what's this? Well, A-Drive, you got pulled over and your brakes was inoperable. And it was this, it was that. See, back in the day when you worked for a company.
We going off now. We got to get back on net.
Hey, the trainer fell off the rails now.
Yeah, we got to bring it back in. We got to bring it back in. Because a lot of people are tuning in and they're trying to, get some insight. Get some insight and get some information that will make them better. Because, we could go down that memory lane, but we in current events right now. And currently, we got a lot of truckers out there hurt. Currently, we have a lot of truckers that's looking something for some information or some type of things, some information they could utilize, news that they can use. Mr. Price, so we got it, but let's keep it short. Mr. Price, do you have something, a news or a topic that a driver could keep with them they could carry them through this trucking industry, throughout their trucking industry?
Man, just prayer. Just prayer. Pray over yourself before you leave. I'm serious. I'm being straight up. I'm
know you being. I'm not trying to laugh, but
after what I just said,
after all of that you just said,
he want to pray.
Pray. I'm gonna get this load down now. Pray I'm gonna be able to get it off with no problems. Pray that I don't see nothing wrong with my truck when I inspect it and I don't hear no crazy noises. And I'm gonna be able to make some money this week because I know the breakdown is coming.
Yes.
Yeah, well, all right, then. So you guys and the ladies out there, so did this help? Because here go the thing, man. This is something that's going on, and it's almost like I don't want to say that. I would say like a spilled cup of water. We are no longer containing the spill. The spill is just going all the way across the board, and it's contributing to lower rates. You got more and more carriers right now that probably parked their truck. And now it's January coming into February. They got to move. They jump to companies and companies trying to recruit. Sometimes it's better for you to park your truck and go company. Sometimes it's better for you to really just do a hard reset. But you got to understand this growth. And if you are financially in a hard spot right now, you got to ask yourself how you got there. You got to be honest with yourself. How did you really get there? Was you one of those companies that really focused on the gross, or did you realize too late that you wasn't generating enough net? But somebody was about to say something.
I'm just saying, it's really no one's fault other than, inexperienced drivers that don't know what their worth is worth. When you're booking a load and you really don't know what you're doing when you're booking that load or know the particulars of a load. And it's basically like what Theo was saying a minute ago, knowing your area, knowing the particulars of a run and what to do and when to do and what's you're gonna have to pay out of that money that you just negotiated. Because sometimes, man, you book a load and there are a bunch of hidden fees that you had no idea about.
How's that? What you mean by that, Price? Now, see, you just saying pray. Now you going with some sympathy. I do you not know the fee?
Brother, I'm praying.
All right. How do somebody don't know the fee now? It's almost as if we're just gonna slide and not look at somebody.
You want me to know? You want to know? Okay.
Yeah, we want to know.
Okay. You be the broker. I'll be the driver.
And I just tell us, man. Just tell us.
No, listen, because it ain't that easy.
Well,
can you do that real quick?
I can help out with this real quick.
Okay, Mr. Theo, Yeah, I'm calling about the load that you got. You got to post it for $1,200 going from Baltimore into New York City down Hunts
Correct.
Point. Okay,
One
sir.
pick, one drop. Mm-hmm.
How much does it weigh?
Load weighs about 35,000 pounds.
Okay. Do I have to pay for pallets?
No pallet exchange on this one.
Okay. What about when I get down to Hunts Point Market? Do I need to pay a fee to get in the yard?
You know what? We haven't had any drivers have any problem with that, but there is a lumper charge. You give us a call. We'll have that right over to you. We got 24-hour dispatch, but we haven't had anybody call about getting into Hunts Point Market with a transition fee just to pull in. We haven't had that, so you should be good.
Okay, but I think they do charge to get into that yard. So will I be reimbursed for that money?
You know what? I let me talk with the customer and see, because we just sent 2 loads there yesterday and we haven't had any problems. So I don't think that's the norm there. I book freight there all the
Well,
time.
let me ask you a question. Is it possible for you to put that on the rate confirmation, saying that if there's a fee going in the gate, that you'll pick it up?
We generally don't do that, but you know what? If there is, we can work something out.
So does that mean you're going to put that on the rate confirmation?
We can work something out. I can put a little something extra on the load once you deliver it.
But that's really no guarantee. I mean, I need something in concrete, because I mean, after the load gets delivered, I mean, I'm pretty much left out there on my own. I'm not trying
Correct.
to be strict about any of this, but I just need to make sure that all my expenses are covered. I know,
Okay. Well, I tell you
you
what.
know,
Let us call down there. We're going to see what the cost is. We'll put it in the rate agreement for you. That's not going to be a problem. But here's one thing I need you to understand. I need you to do. That load's got to be at 35 degrees continuous. We need the paperwork signed on the temp stating that it was 35 degrees, not 36.1, not 34.3. If there is, there will be a charge back of $250. Your gate time has to match the delivery time, which is 11 a.m. If you're not there at 11 a.m., your paperwork needs to be signed in and out at 11 a.m. There is a $250 charge. This is a good customer. I have these loads all the time, but I just want you to be aware of that. Do call us if you need a comp check. It shouldn't be any problems with getting you one, but yes, we can break down and go ahead and pay for this. Mm-hmm.
okay, I don't have a problem with them signing off on the temp time. I meant to say the temp, but the time may be a little difficult because there's sometimes there's trucks in the dock and I can't hit the dock at the time that I'm supposed to, even though I may be early. So what I can do is I could call you at the time, let you know that I'm there at the customer. That way we won't have any problem with this $250 that you're talking about, because I know that they're not going to have me in that dock door at the time that you're asking me to be in the dock door, but I
Mm-hmm.
will be there by that time. Is that a
Okay.
problem?
And I'm going to need to be accessible to your ELD also.
Mm, mm. Well,
And if you don't run an
what,
ELD, then there is going to have to be $100 charge, because we need to be able to track the truck, sir.
okay,
It's,
well, what
it's
what
in
is
the rate agreement about tracking.
yeah,
If we cannot track the truck, there's $100 charge.
okay, but what is the $100 charge for?
The $100 charge is for tracking. We have to be able to track the load, sir.
Okay,
So
but
if you are a gentleman who has
can
a pre-ELD truck, we just can't do it.
okay, well, if you can't track the truck, I just don't see what the $100 is
Okay,
for.
sir. You know what? Hey, you know what? The customer just called. We're taking the load off the load board. Hey, good luck out there finding some freight.
All right, you have a good day.
You too.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Don't be chicken
Man,
it.
man, it's a cold world out there, man. I just want to say it's a cold world. Shit.
You want to know why he took the load off me? Because he know ain't gonna be no BS. This dude is seasoned. This dude already know all the games. He know.
But some people have said now, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate. A lot of people have, some people have said that this season shit doesn't mean nothing right now. People are going, they trying to do what's best for their bottom dollar.
So are you saying that somebody telling you that there's going to be a 250. Now, I've been to Hunts Point Market a million times. So somebody telling you got to bump the dock at 11 o'clock and you've been there since 9 in the morning, but you just haven't been able to get to the dock until 11 and you're going to sign off on something like that. Do that make any sense?
It happens, Price. It happens.
But that's why you got to have that dialogue.
Okay, well, let me spin it this way, Price.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
And I think this can help us along through the show here. You go to a customer, you're there to pick up 30,000 pound load. You get loaded. The bill says 43. What is the next move now? Because I think drivers, sometimes we got to realize.
Hold on real quick.
Right.
Hey guys, I want to talk to the people out there now. What Theo's about to bring up. How many times have you truck drivers ever agreed to a rate confirmation or agreement to a load where the load was heavier than what you agreed to? So I'll give you an example. You agree to a 25,000 pound load and you get there and it's 43,000 pounds. What would you guys do? Hit the comment section, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm generating that asking Price that question, what do you do in a situation like that? What would be a helpful tip to tell the guys who, let's say, they just got on their own authority now? They're starting out new. They really have all the say-so. And if you're leased on, you should have some say-so on that weight going on the trailer. And there is a huge discrepancy in weight. We're talking 15,000 pounds. What do we do once we get the BOLs? What is the next step to moving that freight? Do we just take off? Man, you know what? It's a good paying load. I'm going to take it. Or are we calling the broker and say, hey, look, man, hold on. I agreed on 30,000.
So the question is, the price. What would you do?
First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, did you guys get the right BOLs? The PO numbers that I gave you, are they correct? And then he's gonna say, yeah. Did you add something onto this load? Well, what do you mean? Well, my bills, what I was told was this load weighs 30,000 pounds. Sometimes they may say, oh yeah, we did add a pallet or two onto this load. You understand what I'm saying? So now I could call back to the broker and I could say, hey, listen, did you realize that they added 2 more pallets on here or 3 more pallets on here, making this load even heavier? And it's not to what we agreed upon. And I'm going to need a couple of more dollars on this load. And one or two things is going to happen. Either the broker is going to say he's all in on the load, or he's going to say, oh, thanks for calling me, letting me know that they added on more product onto that load. Because this can happen also. When you get to the receiver could say, I didn't order that. Guess who's stuck with it? Guess who's got to.
We going to hold on. We going it. We moving it. We moving it. We need to go back. But
okay, but I just gave you that part of the scenario of what could happen. So let's say he said, nah, that's what the load is. I got to call the broker and say, hey, listen, you said that the load was going to weigh 30,000 pounds. I found out it weighs 40,000. I need to get some extra money because I got to burn more fuel. 9 times out of 10, A-Drive, we're all in on that load. Now, it's up to you as that owner to say, hey, either take it off or I'm going to run with it. 9 times out of 10, a driver just run with it and just say, oh man, you effing me over or whatever, because you hungry and you need that money and you don't waste hours.
Well, I've done that before. I've been somewhere where I didn't want to have to do it.
Right.
But I had to bite that bullet, man, down there in Georgia. Boy, I said, damn, I know that I'm making a messed up decision. Because I know I'm going against all of my morals and my standards just to get that load, to get out that area. I'm doing it to get out the area, but
yeah. And I view that the same way. If you go somewhere and you have a multiple stop load and there's one extra stop put on there, and you call the broker, hey man, this is only like 10 minutes from the stop. Yeah, but hey, that's more weight. That's more time. I need something for this extra stop. I didn't agree to 7. I agreed to 6.
But Theo, what about the other scenario? What about that other
Hold on,
scenario?
y'all move to the scenario. Hold on.
This ain't no scenario.
Yeah, hold on. All right.
No,
So
it is a scenario because drivers run into this every day.
yeah, but we you know,
Because at the end of the day, OB, they're gonna say it was it was up to you to figure out or know that they put something more than what they were supposed to on the truck.
Yeah, but we're gonna stick to the script. We're gonna stick to the script. We can't solve all the problems.
Solving all the problems, but we gotta also let these drivers know that they're responsible.
It takes time.
We ain't praying on this.
Yeah, not all in one show. We moving too much in one show, because some people gonna go back and rewatch it. When we just jumping. So we got to bring it back to what would you do if you get somewhere and the weight was not to what you agreed upon? What would you do, Price?
It just depends on what my pocket's looking like.
Okay,
I could live on principle someday and say take it off, or I could say, you know what, you're effing me. Let me close these doors and get on down the road to get this stuff down the road, and hope that it don't bite me on the other end when I get down there. Remember that day when I called you that day and them people had me down there at that place, and I told you that they were saying that they didn't order something and the people put it on. Even though they did, they just didn't have the damn paperwork. So I made them pay me twice to take it back because I took it back to my yard. Thank God it was a short run, only 70 miles, but I took it back to my yard. And I told them, I said, if you want me to take it back, you're going to have to repay me again. And they did. But every broker's not going to be that way.
Yeah, but so you guys out there, man, so say, man, some news you can use, these situations, you got to just act accordingly. Like what Price said to your wallet, and Theo said, just look at it. Sometimes things are not just going to be perfect, and you're not going to always win or be in the position of power. But at the end of the day, just factoring what you got to do, and some days you just got to bite the bullet. As long as you're going to make something. I'm not saying, I don't think anybody on this panel is saying do it for free, but make something out the deal. And sometimes you got to just play ball.
And I want to say this too, that from my personal experience, one, it depends on the time of the day. First, I'm calling the broker. We're going to try to get more money if possible. Two, it's going to depend on the time of the day. If it's between the hours of 8 and 12, take it off the truck. I can find another one.
AM,
maybe you can.
AM or PM?
AM. Oh, okay. From 8 in the morning to 12 p.m. Generally, you're going to be able to find another loan. Two, is the area that I'm going to just as profitable where I'm coming out of? Meaning, are the numbers close?
Hold on. I like that. I really do. Hold on.
The next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
I like that, man. I like that. But go ahead, Theo.
Meaning I'm going in and I'm planning on coming back out. Are the lows paying almost similar to come back out or better? If I'm seeing there's a huge loss to come back out, then I'm in my window of finding another low, then I'm not going to haul this low. Because I have to factor in, there is fuel costs. There's going to be more fuel burned. Now, from a 30,000 load, it's 43. Guess what? I got to pay the scale. I got to go scale this crap now, right? So there's time I'm losing. There's money I'm losing. So those factors have to come into play. Have there been instances where we ever get more money on the rate? Yes. There were times that got to take it. And there are times where I will tell a shipper, hey, man, you got to take this off my truck. The broker's not agreeing to it. I didn't sign this for this weight. I'm just not going to haul it.
Careful.
Well, I've done it now. I'm not saying I do it every time.
Okay,
I would not say that.
But, hey, let's tell the whole story now, Theo.
I'm about to break it down.
Okay. So if you do something like that, you better be ready for the consequences.
Yes, you can get blackballed. You can get
No,
blackballed.
I ain't talking about blackball. Let's
Mhm.
say that broker says, "Oh, okay, you did that," and now the customer's calling them complaining because he couldn't take that full load. Now they say,
Mhm.
"We're not going to pay you the rest because you took your fuel advance. We're not going to pay you the rest."
Hold on.
Well,
Okay,
well,
hold on.
well,
They
we
gotta pay line haul. They can
yeah,
say that price, but they still got to pay the line haul.
yeah, and I would say this. I don't do the fuel advance. I want as much of my money when it's coming in. And I get it. Some guys, they operate on
Do it.
fuel
Yeah,
advance.
right,
Correct.
right.
So that variable wouldn't come into play with me, because now you're paying another 1.5% to get your money earlier just to pay the fuel, right? So that's an
I
extra
understand
cost.
all. I
Yeah.
understand all. What I'm saying to you is that
hmm
some of the scumbag brokers will turn around and say, "Well, we're not going to pay you for that because you didn't take the full load." Well, you said that the load weighed 30,000 pounds. When I get there, it's 40,000. I told them to cut it
hmm
back down to 30. They did. So I'm not understanding, but you will get brokers that'll say we're not going to pay you.
Correct. Now you're right. You're right. And those are generally the lows that, you know, the broker is getting charged based. They're charging based on the tonnage. We're not talking about picking up at Hunt's Ketchup and it's supposed to be 22 pallets and you're picking up 25 pallets. Now you have a 44,000-pound load. But
Now,
we're
what
just
about?
talking.
All
Go
right,
ahead,
now
bro.
I'm gonna throw the wrench in here. What about when truckers, when the rate confirmation says a 43,000 pound load, and you get there and it's only 5,000 pounds? Do you call back the broker and tell the broker that they gave you too much money on the rate confirmation?
Well, that's the double-edged sword, OB.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Well,
we're gonna have some people.
in that case, I'm gonna match the piece count. If it's on the rate agreement, the pallet, I'm gonna match that.
You
Now,
better.
you
You
see what I'm
better.
saying? Because now
You
you're
better.
thinking you got something, and you don't realize you're looking at a half a trailer. Like, man, he thought it
Right.
was 40,000, and they didn't put the other half on there. There could
Right.
have been a second PO that
Right.
you overlook, or that the broker just didn't have, or
Yeah.
ship.
What
You
about
see what's that?
yeah? But what if it was a actual situation when I think most truckers have experience, and they get there and the previous truck they say, hey, we was able to get majority of that freight on the previous two trucks. This is just what's left of it, and it turned out to be two pallets. And let's say the broker paid you $2,000. Do you call back and tell
No,
the broker
no,
that
because he paid for a
hold
truckload. He didn't pay for a partial. He paid
No.
for a
hold on.
truckload.
All right. So if they
Yeah,
pay for a truckload,
let
if
me
they pay for a
you explain it
truckload,
and then
hold on. If they pay for a truckload, then how do we use the argument about the weight? How much it weighs?
Well, he
who you
still
talking
paid
to?
for a truckload, but the accuracy of the weight was off. When you pay for the truckload, you're paying for the whole trailer. I
Yes.
can't put anything on there. What you put on there is your business. If it's one box and you paid for that whole truckload, I don't care. You can't call me and say, "Hey, man, it's only one box." It's not my problem. But it's my problem when we're not being honest about the weight, and the weight changes. There is a cost factor. There's a safety issue of running 30,000 versus 45,000.
Then what about when you run at 30,000? Oh, you running 5,000 when you're supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be running 30.
Throw that question to me. I'm gonna break it down for you.
Go ahead, just say it. You go ahead.
Okay.
I'm taking
Okay. Okay. I get there. No. When I get there and I find out that I'm supposed to pick up a 30,000-pound load, it turns out to be 5,000. All right.
Hold on, Price. You
I'll
eating?
put it,
Are you eating?
no, I put everything. Did you guys put everything on this PO in here? Yeah, you're supposed to have X amount of boxes. You're supposed to have 60 boxes. Okay, I got the 60 boxes. Okay. Hey, Mr. Broker. Yeah, this is DR Price Trucking. Hey, I'm calling to make sure that is this the only PO that I have? PO number such. Yeah, there's no other PO numbers. No, you sure? Yeah. All right, no problem. I just wanted to make sure because I didn't want there to be any problems. Why? What's going on? They just gave me a piece count. What's the piece count? 1,000 boxes. Okay, yeah, that's right. That's what it's supposed to be. I don't have to tell the weight. I just need to know that PO number is correct. and that the piece count is correct. Long as I got the piece count and I got the number of what's it called? I don't need to tell them nothing about the weight. You got to be smarter. You don't tell your whole damn hand.
No, what about on the other way around there? So what then?
Well,
What
that's
do
different.
where do the weight
That's
come into
different.
factor?
That's different.
Now, why
That's
is it
different.
different? Why is it different?
Because I could be overweight. I might not be able to tote that much weight. It is a big difference. There's a big difference.
I can say what the difference is. One, he was quoted a certain weight and the weight was lower. So he called the broker to make sure that the piece count was correct. Because we do know sometimes I've been to places and I've been to that a lot, right? So everything was done right. He checked with the broker. But when you get there and now the weight is 15,000 pounds more, and the broker said, no, they told me 30,000. Well, hey, brother, this ain't 30,000. And the PO matches, the piece count matches, and the pallet count matches.
Yeah, they could turn around. The broker could be saying, hey, they're screwing us. Yeah, we'll pay you more because we get paid by the weight or whatever, however they get paid by the tonnage or whatever.
Correct.
And we can go ahead and give you another, say, $100 on the load. Is that all right? As long as you say you're giving me something. But you're not going to just take advantage and say you're not going to give me anything. And like I said, it's up to you to say yay or nay on that particular load. You know, like I said, that's big grown man. You got to wear your big grown man drawers down when you come to situations like that, because I mean, there may be a possibility that I may not be able to get another load. I may have to sit another day. I may have ruined the relationship between me and that broker. He may put a do not load on my thing, or So there's a lot of possibilities that you got to look at.
Now it sound like the brokers right now. What? God damn. All right.
Well, you got to cover your ass. That's number one. You got to cover your ass because at the end of the day, you're the one not to get paid.
Hold on. We'll take a break real quick. Dang, Triple D, you have been very active out there. Triple D, I see you out there, man. S125, what's up with you? T Hill, JP 3000, what's up with you, JP 3000? Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we didn't have nobody call in. I guess we was hitting all cylinders. I guess T Hills, hey man, click too many fees for me. Yeah, man, there's a lot of fees out there. Rob 161 Thriller Foxy. You're on Senior Citizen YouTube. Well, do you guys think that we're gonna have a good summer? Yeah, I'm just asking. I'm thinking we're gonna have. I'm optimistic.
Correct. Yeah. Well, I think we will. For as the weather, yes. For as the rates, I don't know. It's up in the air.
What's the link? I've been in now. Triple D, are you asking for a link up here, man? Phone because what we're gonna do, because we got about 13 more minutes. 9 o'clock. So you guys can hit the comment section. You talking about the link up here, Triple D? You know what? We're gonna do the call in. Triple D, call in. Let me put the number up. That's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna put the call in number. All right. I'm not paying for this number for no reason. You better use that number.
Hit that Cash App.
Yeah. Hey man, y'all need to hit the Cash App, bro.
Y'all see, I need a facial haircut here. My beard's going crazy.
Man, yeah. See, I got the lights off on me. I'm trying to look sexy. I got all that hair growing under my neck. I'm out here looking like a flatbed driver.
I could fix both of y'all up right now with this 2x4 I got. Make y'all look real pretty.
I bet you can.
Won't even need no makeup. Y'all have rosy red cheeks, both of you.
All right. Hello. All right. Did he call in number? All right. Here we go. Hello, Triple D.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on with you, brother? You're live at 5. What you got, brother?
Hey, shit. I'm just sitting here watching TV, listening to you fellas kicking out. But nah, I was just, replying, as you can see in the comments, to the people. I've been in both of those situations, actually, almost every situation that you threw up there. As far as being overweight, getting to the shipper. I'll give you one situation, try to make this quick. I know you said you got 13 minutes. Picked up a load in South Carolina, going to, I think it was Brooklyn, or whatever. Load supposed to have been 35,000 pounds, or whatever. So I got there, gave them the rate con, and they were like, the load was only 22,000 pounds. So I called the broker back, let the broker know the situation. And they was like, okay, we'll call you back. Well, the place, they had a time frame about to close, along with they needed the product there the next morning. And in order for me to make it, I had to go ahead and. So I waited and waited around. Nobody called me. And they was like, are you sure this is the only PO you got? I was like, yeah, the only PO. So they went ahead and loaded me. So I get a call the next morning. I'm 50 miles outside of Brooklyn or whatever, 50 miles. And the lady was like, how much is your product? How much does the product weigh, and what is the temperature? And I was like, I got 22,000 pounds. I think it was like 30 degrees. It was produce or whatever. And she was like, 22,000 pounds? You supposed to have 30 products. And I was like, not according to this rate time. She was like, well, you supposed to pick up 35,000 and you had another stop. And I was like, time out, lady, what the hell do you mean I had another stop? There was another stop 20 miles from the original place I was supposed to drop. So we're going back and forth. And I'm like, lady, do you know I'm 50 miles from the original destination? So we're going back and forth. So they pulled that same thing that Price was talking about. They actually tried to send me a revised rate card because they said that I didn't pick up all the product. So long story short, it went back and forth with them for about a month. A factoring company put it on hold. They paid out to me, but I had to get involved so they can get paid their money so they wouldn't do a chargeback to me. Long story short, I had to get the bond company involved. Well, what the brokers then try to do is they kept trying to go back and forth. Well, you didn't take the full amount of the product or whatever. And I was like, you're right, because I took what was on the rate con and what was agreed upon or whatever. So we kept going back and forth. So they kept trying to offer me a lower rate. And I was like, no. So I was like, okay, if y'all going to keep playing this game, I'm going to claim it on your bond. So I got the bond information, made the bond claim. The bond company actually called them. They were supposed to call me. They never did. Another week went on, called the bond company back. Keep going through the same thing back and forth. Well, long story short, the bond company ended up calling me back and said, if they don't pay within the next week, then we're going to go ahead and let you pay on the bond. So then the owner of the company actually ended up calling me back and asked me what would I take to satisfy the claim. So I would take it off the bond. Long story short, what's that?
No,
No, well, I'm laughing.
Oh,
I know what it takes.
Short, he ended up, so he ended up paying the whole thing or whatever because he didn't want me to claim it on his bond or whatever. So long story short, then I had another situation similar to the other one with what you're saying. I have an old Martin trailer. So they have my reefer has a 75-gallon tank on it, which most reefers have a 35-gallon tank, or they have two of them on it. So I can carry more weight. I usually keep my tank at about half a tank because of the weight issue, depending on where I'm going. So long story short, got to a place in Houston, and I told them I only load to 42.5. Well, there was a Love's not even a half a mile down the road. This place wants to play Billy Badass. Well, we load you to whatever you can scale out at or whatever with your tank full. You need to show up with full tanks. And I was like, I called the broker and I was like, look, man, I'm not playing this game with y'all. I told y'all this is what I'm loaded at. I know my equipment and I'm full and I'm going all the way back to Florida with it. Florida and Georgia, they don't play these bullshit games with the weight. Long story short, I left that shit sitting right there at the door. So, if he blackballs me, That's on him. Then I had another one. I was the last person, like I put in the comment. Got to a produce place. It was a farm. Got to the produce place. Loaded up. Loaded up.
You know, on the doors, got to put some oil on that doors.
I like that. I like that. Sweet.
Right, so. Look, I know somebody coming in the house, so I'm waiting on it.
Right.
But anyways, so I was the last one to load up at a produce farm, and I was coming out of Georgia, coming back into Florida. Well, the broker, told me what the weight was, kept calling me, make sure I got loaded, and I was like, yeah. And the guy told me what the weight was or whatever. So I went down the road, I scaled out. Well, guess what? They closed. And they told me once I left, the load was yours or whatever. So long story short, I ended up getting stuck with the load. So they had to get the owner involved because I told the broker, I was like, this shit is not going to make it there. It needed to be there the next morning by 9. It was like 400 miles. I was like, it's not going to make it there because I'm not going to go cross that fucking scale or whatever. Florida, you have the agriculture and then you have the agriculture and then you have the scale right after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that scale on 95, you're not dodging that scale on 95. So long story short, I was like, y'all need to get this shit off. So long story short, he ended up paying me and we took it back or whatever. Long story short, he paid me the fuel for taking it back a truck order not used. But all of a sudden, they were actually able to get them to stay there later, to have 2 guys to stay there, and they had another truck that was going to take it. And a lot of times what they do with the produce running back into Florida is they're hoping you run at night and hoping the scales are not open.
Yep.
I was like, nah, I took a weight ticket or 2 in my time, and I ain't playing those games with y'all. And like
Well,
sometimes,
I think the most important thing you said, and I haven't heard a lot of people say this in the YouTube stratosphere when they're talking about lows and what goes on. You stated, I called the bond. I called the broker's bonds company. And that will get your money real fast because they don't want to have to deal with their bond company calling them and saying, hey, what's going on?
Guys, explain what a bond company is.
Well, we're going to do that on the next episode. We're going to do that on the next one. Hey, we're going to do that.
The thing on that one that I was able to get my money is I actually had the original Raycon, and per that PO, that was the only amount of product that they had for that PO. So that's also what saved me because I had the original contract. So, that's just like if you go to court, you have, something in writing. It pretty much was the bread and the pudding. And like you said, Daryl, we can discuss that on another show.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
At the end of the day, and then on another situation you guys were talking about.
Hold on now, Triple D. Triple D. Long story short, Triple D. we're gonna get ready. We gotta wrap it up. We got
hey, OB. It's the weekend, man. You ain't got to go to bed that early.
Yeah, but we got another. We got to keep the show going. We got another topic. Appreciate Triple D for calling in. And we're going to pick that up on another time, but we've got another topic to lead into. That's we're getting into more and more important things, what's going on in the world and in trucking. So, hey, man, OB, you want to start it out?
All right. Hey, Triple D, man, thank you for calling in, brother. Thank you.
No problem, brother. Thank you.
All right. All right, you guys. Well, man, we about to... Oh, man. We about to hit that power hour. I know. Guys might be saying, OB, man, you shutting down the show so early. Well, man, I only pay for limited internet service and got to get some more, got to go and pay some bills. But I'll tell y'all this, we just used $50 worth of the internet. And
well, you got it back on the Cash App. They better be in that cash.
Yeah, man, that shit. I got to be a man of the evening tonight. But I want to let y'all know, man, we really appreciate all of the viewers and the people that's coming in. Please come back again. We might go and do a Sunday. We might do a midday cigar, and we get ourselves ready for Monday, right? Prep ourselves and get ourselves in a positive mindset and get some things off our chest and relinquish that and get ready for a good Monday. But anyway, I want to thank Brother Price. And Price, what you got to say before we end the show?
Man, it's always great talking trucking and just educating drivers, man. That's all I got to say. And y'all know what I got to say at the end, man. So I'll let y'all go ahead and finish it out for me.
All right, Theo, you.
Hey, I'll take charge next, man. I always say stay prayed up, stay strapped up. Let's try to learn something for 2023 that we haven't learned yet. And we're going to keep pushing, man. We're going to keep pushing down this road and pray we can do it together.
That's right.
All right, man. And I really appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody being very active in the comment section. Thank you, Triple D, for calling in. Thank you, Brother Price, for taking time out your day to come up here and explain. And last but not least, we are not bashing anybody. So the thing with John Hall was he put it out there, and the public opinion, the court of public opinion, not
Correct.
everybody agree that it was a profitable run. That's all. That's it. Other than that, you guys going to have a wonderful evening. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Official Business Podcast. We'll get you a little bit later.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Whoa.